Hey everybody, welcome back. It is Friday. I'm here all by myself, so you're gonna have to suffer through just this mug today. That's it. So it has been a long week. I hope everyone's had a good one. I guess we could look forward to the weekend now, TGIF. Thank goodness. So today it's going to be, I'm going to try, I promised Peter already, I'm going to try to kind of keep this to about an hour and a half, maybe less, we'll see. But next week we'll have Fabiola back on, so it won't just be me. So I'm going to go through all of the comments, any kind of questions you have. As Peter always says, put a Q before your question or possibly even an @JCristina. It just makes it simple for me to be able to find them. So let's say hello to some people. Let's see, who do we have? We have Peter, of course, the moderator. Thank you for being here, Peter. Really appreciate you, as always. We have John. How's it going? We have Mo World. How are you doing? How are you doing? Honey Badger, what's going on? Tom, we got Fragile 1976, 83 Jeep. How's it going? There's a bunch already here. Rob, how are you doing? How are you doing? Travis. So do me a favor. If you've never been here on, as we call it sometimes, Free Speech Friday, you can say as you wish. Doesn't really matter. That's what this is all about, right? We can hang out and just chat about whatever you want to talk about. We can talk about all the different videos that I did over the week, or maybe there's something new or something old that I missed. Let's talk about it. That's the whole fun part about Friday. Anything goes. We can do whatever we want. So I really appreciate everyone being here. Do me a favor, if you are new or even if you're old, just say what's up in the chat, just so we know that you're here, number one, and you're listening. You didn't fall asleep. Do that for me. Even if you put emoji, maybe a little poop emoji, I'm good with that. Anything, that's cool. So I have to definitely recognize here, let me see here, Lindsay Wright, thank you so much for the premium sub. That is really nice. I do appreciate it, as always. All the super chats are just, let's just say, heartfelt. It really did. It's a lot. It helps a lot, and I really appreciate it, okay? So anyways, guys, once again, tonight's going to be kind of like a hangout. We're going to just chill and relax. If there is any URLs that you want me to go to, stick the URL also in the chat. Like if there's something, now it might not allow you to put the URL as it is, maybe put dashes instead of a period, just so I know. And then I'll go and check that out also. If something has come out that's brand new that we missed over the week, once again, tell me about it. Let me know what is going on. So the 2 or 3 big videos I did this week, today's video was DJI caught selling SpaceX Starlink to Russia. And it was like a Newsweek type of thing. And it was kind of like, why are they doing this? And this is what happens all the time with mainstream media, right? They blow stuff out of proportion. They get shit just sideways. And then everyone just jumps on that bandwagon and then perpetuates that mantra. And the mantra is just completely wrong, you know? And this is what happens. Anyway, so I kind of called them out on it a little bit. We could talk about that tonight. Also, just before that, I did one that was the SpaceX Internet new cheaper plan. And I talked about a plan that was in Australia, I believe it is. Or, no, it wasn't Australia. It was New Zealand. And it was 50% off. So that was really cool. The only thing is, the catch is you would have 50% of the service, let's say, during any type of peak, and there is a lot of people that are on the network, there's congestion, it will deprioritize your data. Some people don't give a crap. Deprioritized data is fine because they know that most likely, especially in New Zealand, does not let people on anyways. So getting the product or getting the internet for half price is definitely worth it. Also, you can buy over there a refurbished dish or kit, which is really nice because, and what I was telling you in the video is that what's good is they stand behind it anyways. It doesn't matter if it's refurbished or new. If there's something wrong, they're going to replace it. So that was pretty neat. Not bad at all. And I think it came to about $47 US, whatever the conversion is for New Zealand. But 47 bucks per month. I mean, that's just crazy for what you're getting with SpaceX Starlink, considering we're paying 120, right? Also, I did one about AT&T. And is it possible for AT&T to be replaced by SpaceX Starlink? I talked about this way back 28 months ago, and I said, if they ever get let's say a antenna that would be like let's call it a wireless tower that you would see down the street, but stuck it in low Earth orbit, that would be just game changing. And that's exactly what has been happening. Now we see E-Node Bs, which is basically a wireless tower in LEO. And now you'll be able to make calls for, well, I guess as of today, you can do texts, but sooner than later, you'll be able to make phone calls if you're outside and your phone can see any satellite. You're going to be able to make a call, emergency call, any type of call, and eventually be able to do data too. That is just, that should get these telcos just shaking in their boots, if you think about it, right? Because then it doesn't matter if you have a wireless tower near you. Who cares? As long as you can see the sky, you're golden. And what I was speculating is, imagine if you had let's say a dish, and instead of it being like one of these big ass dishes that are like 22 inches by 15 inches, the new dish are the size of an iPad. I think it's like 9 by 8 or something. It's really small. Now imagine if you can get to maybe this size, right? The size of an iPhone. You just stick it on your roof and it's like a repeater, and now you can make calls because you don't have to be outside anymore. Game changing, right? So I was speculating if that could happen. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Obviously, the fiber on the floor is still fiber. Fiber is always where we want to be, where we want to go. But still, that is it's just something to think about. And it just shows how things are just changing in the networking as well as the internet field, right? So anyways, let's get into some of these comments and questions, and then we'll get into some of these articles and whatnot that I was doing during the week. Let's see. Who do we have? Honey Badger says, good evening. How are you doing, my friend? How are you doing? We have Pennsylvania. Tom, how's it going? Let's see. Rainy. What's going on over here? What is it? It's raining. We have someone from Texas. We were in Texas. That's why we didn't make it last week. Last week we weren't on because we were in Texas visiting the kids and the grandkid. It was awesome. A lot of fun. Let's see. Peter, thank you once again for being here, Peter. Let's see. John Wolf, 70s and dry. That's not too bad. Can't complain about that. Here in Florida, usually in the winter, this is considered winter, we have it pretty good. Not too much rain. But then once the summer hits, oh my God, all hell breaks loose. Really bad. Let's see. Question John says, are you still using your pipe link? What is pipe link? Is it better than the TP? Oh, okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. So yeah, the TP link 605. So, well, for me, you're talking about the PEP link. The PEP link, I have a bunch of them. I got a 20, I got a 30, the balance 20, balance 30. I got a bunch of the PEP link. So PEP link is a really, really good router if you want to bond multiple connections together. But you're going to be set back like $499, I think, plus like modules and all this stuff. So yes, I still have it. I use it occasionally for doing testing because that's what I do. But for the most part, I'm using just a standard router, and I'm letting SpaceX Starlink's router do the most of it, right? The majority of it. And when I need to combine services into one, I'm using a software solution. And you guys have heard of it before. It's the Speedify. So I actually bond AT&T, complete crap, Uverse, as well as T-Mobile. And that's T-Mobile Home Internet and the SpaceX Starlink. I bond all three connections together. That's what I am transmitting on right now. So usually by doing so, we don't have any outages. Every once in a while, you might have something that goes south, but for the most part, there's no outages because I'm using all three. So if one goes down, it doesn't really matter. You still have two that are working. So yes, I still use it, but for the most part, I'm not using it. I do have a couple of new routers that I'm going to take a look at, so hang tight for that. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Rob. Let's see. Norwood, I guess. Photography. How is it going? Travis, how are you doing? Shannon, how's everything? Good evening. Good evening to you. Rubicon, how's it going? Let's see. Ian, Canada, in the house. Awesome. How's it going in Canada? Is it cold right now, or is it like starting to warm up? I would imagine it's probably still cool. Rick, how are you doing? Rick says, hey, Joe, East Central California. Welcome. City Twister, hello to you. Peter, thank you so much once again, Peter. He's from Denmark. So Peter is the moderator, and we love to hate Peter because he's sitting on a bi-directional fiber feed, which I think is a gigabit, like a gig up, a gig down. Correct me if I'm wrong, Peter. Oh, that would be a beautiful thing, but that's okay. That's all right. One day we'll have fiber here. Sure. Yeah, maybe. Derry, how are you doing? Que pasa from Mexico? How's it going? Michelle, how's it going over there? Hello, nice to see you too, Nicholas. Let's see, who else do we have here? Charles, how are you doing from Texas? Randy, how's it going, Randy from Grand Rapids? Craig, how are you? That mug is high and tight tonight. Look at this thing. Is that a serious mug? This is a big mug. This is a big mug, but I like it. It's not bad. I have my merch, which has the Tea Time logo on it, but it's in the wash. So I'm stuck with this one tonight. Let's see who else we have here. John K. Wolf, how are you doing? Question. Did you hear anything about the Starlink going down in South Texas? My neighbors and me went down for 3 hours. I didn't hear about that at all. Usually it's a small, let's say, portion that goes down because there's updates going on, but I didn't hear anything, and I didn't see any outages here in Florida, and I didn't hear anyone else go down for 3 hours. Let me know, or let John know. That's not good. 3 hours is a long time. Something happened there. It was probably a bad update or something. That's a long time. Joe, how are you doing, Joe from Pennsylvania? Let's see, Ricky Joe, how's it going? Joe, let's see, question. Any big plans for hitting that 100,000 subscriber milestone? I can't believe it. I looked at the list, and I looked at the analytics, and I saw that 90,000 pop up, and I was like, wow, we're at 90,000. That's amazing. But you know what, guys? I don't know. YouTube is just they are messed up. I haven't reached out to them yet. And in my last video, I talked about it. For some reason, a lot of you guys are like unsubscribed. How in the hell is that? I've been getting a lot through DMs, through emails, and they're like, you don't do lives anymore. I never see your videos. What's going on? I'm like, holy shit, I'm doing this like all the damn time, right? I don't get it. So then they would look it up, and they're like, I'm not subscribed to you anymore. And I didn't unsubscribe. So I'm like, how is that even a thing? And if it was just like one guy, maybe he accidentally hit the button, that happens. Shit happens. Well, this is not one person. This is a lot of people. This isn't even one handful or two handfuls. It's more. And I just don't get it. And those are the people that reach out to me and tell me, how about the other hundreds that don't say shit because they don't even know that they're not subscribed anymore, and they think that I just stopped doing it. So I don't know. YouTube just needs to fix their crap. They really do. I don't know what is wrong over there, but I've said this for the years that I've been on here, that just stuff doesn't feel right sometimes. We'll look at our analytics, and then we'll see like there's a drop of a bunch of people, and it's like, well, what just happened there? I mean, then I'll go into the videos, and the videos don't show anything. It's just all of a sudden they're missing. Or we'll take a look at our analytics as far as like what the channel makes per month or whatever. It'll be like doing this, like this, and also it'll just like crash. Nothing's changed. It's like, what the hell is that? Just weird shit. I don't know. Anyways, I digress. Let me get back into some questions. Thank you for pointing this out, though. It just pisses me off, is what it does. Why are people being unsubscribed? I don't know. Anyways, let's see. Dish lost 28% last year. Yeah. Yes. I said that was going to happen, right? I said Dish Network and DirecTV will be going out of business. And I stick to it. they will not be around for the long haul. They just simply won't. It's just not possible. Matter of fact, you have Viasat and HughesNet, right? Which are satellite internet providers that were around screwing people for so many years, giving them just the worst service, the worst, just horrible latency, slow, just unpredictably slow, high prices, a data cap. You could only use this month, and then they're going to go out of business. Matter of fact, I just saw that it wasn't HughesNet, it was Viasat. Viasat was like reaching out to the government, and the government is going to start using some of the Viasat, what is it, Satellite 3 or whatever the hell they call it. They launched a satellite. The damn thing just, it basically wet the bed, and the alignment of the antennas wrong. Some crap happened to the damn thing. It's literally running at like 10-20% of the full 100% capacity of the thing. Anyways, long story short, the government is going to start using their service for like military use and stuff. And I think that is smart for the military. And the reason being is I think that what they'll do is they'll use it as a backup, right? So you'll use low Earth orbit for your primary, and then you'll use geocentric or geolocated. Low Earth orbit, 550 kilometers off Earth. Regular geo, right, is sitting at 36,000 kilometers off Earth. Monster difference, right? 500 to 36,000. So those satellites are a little bit safer, okay? But they have an extremely high latency. So where SpaceX Starlink can get like 20 milliseconds of latency or 20 ping, right? Your Viasat or your HughesNet will be sitting at like 600, 700 milliseconds. Sometimes 1,000 milliseconds, which is a second of latency. At that point, I mean, for military conversations, that's fine. But if you're directing a drone or you're trying to do some kind of like strike, I mean, you need really low latency. You can't have like a second latency. What the hell is that? A lot happens at extreme speeds in 1 second, right? We don't want to get into all this stuff, the boom. So anyways, I don't know. These people are going to go out of business. We see a 28% decline that John said in Dish. I'm sure that goes to DirecTV too. They're going to be out of business. They just can't sustain. And that's why I was saying that companies like AT&T, I mean, guys, we were in the airport when AT&T just crapped itself. And everyone is scrambling around in the airport like, turning their phone on and off. They're like, do you have service? Do you have service? I don't have any service. Who do you have? Oh, I got Verizon. I'm fine. Who do you have? I have AT&T. I'm screwed too. If you have AT&T, you probably experienced the exact same thing. It was like a nationwide outage. But it wasn't an outage for like an hour or two or something like that, or a few minutes or a few seconds. No, the outage was for 11 hours. 11. How in the hell do you go down as a corporation, a billion-dollar corporation? How do you go offline? How do you go dark for 11 hours? I said it had to be a hack. Insiders say that it wasn't a hack. They came out and said it wasn't a hack either, that it was a software malfunction, like they were doing an update, some type of network update, and it failed. I'm a system administrator, guys, okay? It's not friggin' possible. It's just simply not. When you roll out an update, you sandbox the update first. Sandbox is like, like a kid's sandbox that plays in the sandbox. Same type of shit, right? You do all of your testing in the sandbox when it's not live. In the sandbox, you can play with stuff. If something fails, that's fine. You just redo it until it is right. You sandbox it. Once that data or once that software update or that firmware update is working and functioning in the sandbox, then you go live. Not until then, but you go live at about 3 a.m. Okay? So that's good and all, right? So you'd think, well, at 3 a.m. then shit would hit the fan. Well, yeah, it did. By 4 a.m. things went south. But the problem that I have here is when you go live at 3 a.m., it would be 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then, remember, you're going to go live at 3 a.m. at every time zone. You got 4 time zones. So you got Eastern, then you go into Central, and you go into Mountain, Pacific. So you got 4 hours difference. So when shit hit the fan, when they went online with it in Florida or in New York, let's say, here on the East Coast, you wouldn't roll it out to Central. You wouldn't roll it out to Pacific 4 hours down the road, would you? No. So you mean to tell me that they're going to roll out a massive update all at once throughout the entire nation? I mean, it's just, I can't. Okay, it does not, like 1 and 1 does not equal 2. This is like 1 and 1 equals like 8. It doesn't make any sense at all. All right. So anyways, I did a whole video on that. If you guys didn't watch it, go take a look. It was fun putting it together. As I just give you some of my background and what I do and try to figure stuff out, because sometimes I just don't get it. AT&T is definitely one of them. I hope they go out of business. Those people are just god awful. They're just horrible, horrible, horrible. And then you know what they said, guys? See, I digress. I get pissed, right? They said, listen, we had a problem. Yeah, there was an outage. A little bit of an outage. Not a little bit. It's 11 hours, guys. It's not a little bit. We're going to give you $5 for your inconvenience. For your inconvenience. We're going to give you $5. Thank you, AT&T. I really appreciate that $5. That is really nice of you. People are in the airport scrambling. They can't get an Uber, right? They don't have a phone. Not only can they not get an Uber, Uber's not even working. They're not even doing anything. So there's no Uber. Think about this, guys. I want to know what your contingency or emergency plan is before I go any further, right? In the comments down here, in the chat, let me know. Like, when shit hits the fan like this, right? What do you do? What do you do? I mean, just think about it. When AT&T went down, okay, there's no people had no access to, if they didn't print their boarding pass or have it already on their phone, they can't get it. Right? They can't get it. They got to go back to the counter. Okay? There's no internet at all. There's no calling. There's not even an SOS. There's nothing. Right? There was a bunch of counties throughout the country. They were saying, listen, AT&T is down. If you have AT&T, go to your neighbor, someone that has a landline. Remember the landline? You have the phone, you be like, beep, 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 right? Go to your neighbor that has a landline if you need to dial 911, because AT&T, you can't do it. Straight blackout, 11 hours. So, for me, I'm looking at it as number one. I think I'm going to dump AT&T, as I'm sick and tired of them anyways. But I'll probably just get T-Mobile for now. Not that they're better, because all the telcos are crap. We know that, right? We know that. But I'm thinking about doing that, and maybe even keeping like a very small basic plan of another one, maybe Verizon or AT&T, and just keep it, but just reduce it down to nothing. Kind of, once again, as that contingency when something happens like this. Because shit, you don't have money. How many people use out there? How many of you guys use Apple Pay or Google Pay or some kind of bullshit e-wallet, right? And you don't have a wallet in your pocket and you don't have any greenbacks. How many of you guys are like that? Because if you are, and this shit goes down, guess what? You don't even got money. Forget about Uber not running. If you wanted to go to the store and just get like a Coke, you can't even do it. You got no money. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Anyways, let me get back to some questions. See, this is what happens, and then I go way too long because I'm going on and on and on. Let me see here. Let me see notifications. All right, here we go. Yeah. Shannon says, formerly Twitter. Laugh out loud. Yes. God, that burns me. I just hate hearing it all the time. The news, and all of these rags, especially mainstream media, they still say 2 years later, formerly known as Twitter. It's like it's X now. All right, they're not tweets anymore. I mean, I was there from the very beginning. Trust me. I love Twitter, but I really like what they're doing now with their community. Matter of fact, if you watch today's video, I talk about it a little bit with their community notes and how they're vetting, right, stuff. I really like it. I think it's not perfect, but it does a pretty damn good job at vetting some of this bullshit that we used to see on Twitter. Now it can be vetted. Let's see, who else we got here? Charles, how are you doing from Texas? How's it going? Randy, how are you doing? Grand Rapids. Craig, how are you? John, Honolulu, how are you? Wow, Hawaii, John, how are you? Joe, Pennsylvania. Let me see here. Let me just come down here. Mo World, how are you doing? Yeah, no Fabiola. I'm sorry, Mo World. You have to look at this horrible mug tonight. No Fabiola. Let's see. Starlink should be $50 off. Yeah, it would be nice. I would like to see Starlink price come down a little bit. You know, I have a feeling it would. Unlike other telcos, I think that Elon will bring the price down if he can. Look, he did that already, right? Everyone was paying $110 before it went up to $120. And the folks that were in like the really rural areas, I forgot what, I think it was like Utah or something. There was a couple of areas where there was a ton of service available, right? There was no congestion, no one's using it. So what he did was, instead of going up, like ours went from $110 a month to $120, their price went down from $110 to $90 per month, because it's just accessible and there's no one on it. So they might as well charge people less, because the satellites are flying overhead anyways. Might as well get some use out of them, right? So that kind of makes sense. So I think he'll go down on it once this thing really starts making some money. I mean, they're already in the black. This shit's only been around for what? I mean, I'm live with it for 28 months, and that's just when it came out of beta. So figure retail, 28 months maybe. Let's call it 2 years. That's it. 2 years, they're already in the black. How many businesses are in the black after 2 years? Doesn't happen very often. Let's see. Fragile 1960 or 1976 says, how often does Starlink change your pop? Just noticed that mine switched from Dallas to Los Angeles. That's a big difference from Texas to Los Angeles. It shouldn't change unless something broke. Okay, like, so I had a pop that was out of Miami. I'm in Palm Beach, but that pop changed to Atlanta, Georgia. So I don't know if they closed the pop in Miami. When I had Miami, guys, I used to have a sub 20 ping. That's like unbelievable. That's like copper speed. Maybe not fiber, but that's like copper speed all day long. Under 20 ping. But now we're doing Atlanta, Georgia for the pop, and instead of it being 70 miles away from me, our pop is now 750 miles away. So it's slower, but it is what it is. But it shouldn't change around that much. The thing is if you wrote to them and say, hey, listen, you know, my pop used to be in Dallas and now it's in Los Angeles or wherever, they're going to be like, the service that you currently have is the best service that we have available, and blah, 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 blah. And they'll give you like the carbon copy, you know, Control C, Control V, cut and paste. And that's just about it. Ken, how are you doing, Ken? Good evening, my friend. Starlink update happened weekly here in in Seattle. Speeds have improved a little. Why so many updates? Ken, I don't really know. But I can tell you that there's a few people that write to me on a regular basis through email and through DMs, and they are like up to like, I think it was update 12 in the last 28 or 35 days or something. 12 updates. That is just a shit ton. So I don't know what they're doing. But whatever they're doing is good. So my speeds are getting better, just like you. My speeds are getting better. So I'm happy with it. Keep updating the hell out of it. I don't really care. Reboot it all the damn time. I don't care. So I don't know what's going on, but whatever is going on, it's a good thing and not a bad thing. That's all I have to say, Ken. I don't know. So hopefully it continues that way. Ian, let's see. How are you doing, Ian? We have Ricky. Joe, how's it going? What router or switch would be best for a 2-WAN connection? So, okay. So a 2-LAN connection, if you want to do bonding or you want to combine them together, take a look. I did, I think, 5 videos. Do a look-see, all right? And what I did is I did a review on all the different routers that were available. This was like last year or something. And I told you all of the goods and the bads, all the positive and negatives of each. So watch those videos, because what I do with mine might not be what you need to do with yours. If you're just bonding, two together, that's pretty much easy. That's not really a big deal. Just about any of them will do it. Now, some of them do it better than others, okay? Some of them, the switchover happens quicker. Some of them don't switch back because they're broken. That's a whole nother thing. But definitely take a look at that. I mean, there's Ubiquiti that I reviewed that's really good. There's a whole bunch of them. All right, so check out those videos, and then they'll definitely tell you which one is best for what you're doing. Let me see here. Ren, how are we doing, Ren? It says your PC keeps installing something. I've heard it says your PC keeps installing something. I've heard it via the street twice now. Just letting you know. Sounds like a connection or a reconnection via USB. Really? Are you hearing it through? Where are you hearing it? That's interesting. You know what I'm gonna do? I will turn off desktop audio. And there you go. Now, if it does whatever it's doing, you're not going to hear it anymore. Thanks for giving me the heads up on that. We don't want to hear that whole bling, blong crap. Let's see. Appreciate that, Ren. Let's see. Peter, once again, he says Q or add JCristina. That makes it easier so I can find the questions quicker. Let's see. Ian's still cold. Yeah, I know. Warming up over there. FXLRSAZ, I guess, Arizona, maybe? We don't like Peter. I know. He has that fiber. Those guys, 1-to-1, just gigabit fiber. But not just gigabit fiber, but I believe it's bi-directional. John, listen, Peter, let me know. I think a lot of people are going to be, they would just, I can't even imagine being able to upload at a gigabit, 1,000 megabits. I mean, that'd be just sick. That would be sick. Shannon says, question, could they add mini telescopes to each Starlink satellite to monitor space? Seems to me it would be a complete view of the universe. Yeah. So the thing is like you have the Hubble telescope, which is a big ass mirror, right? You have and then you have the new telescope. So they're usually like you need like a massive telescope to really see into the deep, darkest portions of outer space. So if you just have like a small camera like DSLR with a massive telephoto lens on it, you're not going to really be able to get much. Now, even if you were to have let's say any type of imaging device on every one of the satellites, and let's say eventually there's 40,000 satellites, you could take a snapshot and then merge them all together into a massive gigabit image. But the problem with it is even though it would have a ton of resolution, the depth would still not be there. You follow what I'm saying? So yeah, they could probably do stuff like that, but most of these satellite companies like China, they have cameras built on board, but they're pointing not into outer space. They're pointing at you. And some of these Chinese satellites now have a resolution down to like a square meter. Literally, they can read license plates. So they're not pointing them away from us. They're pointing them towards us, right? Surveillance. Just Ken, how are you doing? It says Starlink has been amazing the last few months. Love your channel. Great content. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Just Ken. Appreciate that a lot. Ricky Joe says, question, what is the difference between these three subnet masks? You got 255.0.0.0. So most of the subnet masks that you're going to use or submasks is going to be 255, 255.0. Each one are submasks. You can do subnets inside. 255, 255.0, that's what you're going to be using. Just stick with that, all right? Let's see here. And if you see something that's off, that's not that, sometimes there are companies that will actually do it deliberately so they don't stay on the same network that you're using and they're on a separate subnet. That's like opening up a whole nother can of whoop ass. It gets really deep, and it's not going to be for tonight for sure. Let's see. YouTube plays games with the auto unsubscribe. Yes, it feels that way, Just Ken. I feel like you're right. I don't know. Ricky, let's see, says not 3 hours, but It did go down for about 3 or 4 minutes last night around 12. Yeah, so when you see outages for 3 or 4 minutes right around midnight, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, most of those outages are due to firmware updates, and then they reboot. And during a reboot process, it could take a minute or two for it to reboot. Satellite acquisition used to take like up to 15 minutes. Now it's like almost spontaneous because there's 5,500, almost 6,000 satellites overhead. So at any given time, your dish could probably see 4, 5, maybe even 10 satellites. So it's not an issue anymore. Travis says YouTube updates. Yeah, I don't even know. Honey Badger Joe, you should have over 1 million subscribers with your awesome content. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I don't know, like I really do. I mean, not to toot my own horn, okay? I put out a lot of content. The content is sometimes newsy, sometimes it's educational, sometimes it's just edutainment, right? But there's a lot, and I think it's fairly good. And I really do believe that there should be more than 90,000 subscribers. That's just my personal opinion. But who the hell knows? Maybe not, Maybe I'm freaking delusional. Maybe I should have less. I don't know. But I just hate to hear I would say sometimes I'll get 5 to 10 people in a week that tell me that, where did I go? And then they look it up and they find out that they're unsubscribed, and I'm like, and they tell me all the time, they're like, we didn't unsubscribe. I don't know what happened. And it's like, I don't know. I reached out to YouTube and I told them about this. That was like last year sometime. And they said, you know what they told me? They told me that it's probably a glitch of some kind. Tell your subscribers to unsubscribe. Tell them to subscribe again. And then tell them to click the little button over here and then click all so that they get all notifications, and that should clear it up. I mean, what's next? You have to do the hokey pokey or some shit? I mean, how about if you don't unsubscribe them in the first place? How about that? I don't know. Am I asking for too much? They didn't want to unsubscribe. Why are you unsubscribing them? I don't know. Anyways, it's just stupid in my personal opinion, but there's a lot of stupid stuff going on. A lot of stupid stuff. Question from Eric. He says, Joseph, has SpaceX nailed down a launch date for the next Starship? So my understanding is the Starship 3 should be launching. I'm gonna speculate it'll be like March 15th, March 20th, March, somewhere right around mid-March, maybe tapering out a little bit more than mid-March, maybe the 20th or so. But we should see a a Starship launch. So I'm going to bet that they're not going to blow it up. I think it's going to make it around the world in like 90 minutes and splash down in the ocean. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, it's my understanding that not only they're going to launch coming up in March, like I said, I think it'll be mid, but they are slated to launch a Starship every month for the rest of the year. 9 Starships before the end of 2024. That's crazy. That is crazy. Because what that means to me is if that cadence was able to happen, what that means to me is that they will definitely be able to launch the new version 3 satellites into low Earth orbit, the new ones, or they call them we can call it the version 2 maxis instead of the version 2 minis. They'll probably call them version 3s by the time they get up there because it's been so damn long now. But we should see those version 3s by, I would say, either last quarter, maybe third quarter of 2024. And if that's the case, things are going to just flip on their head. Things are going to get extremely fast, really, really quick. So I'm excited about that. So yeah, figure on Eric, maybe mid March. Let's see. Man, there's a lot of you on here tonight. I'm so glad. Once again, if you are new, down in the chat window, just say hello, just so I can recognize you. I appreciate you being here. Let's see. Nicholas, how are you doing, Nicholas? Says usually when YouTube has unsubscribed me from a channel, the videos still show up on the home screen, but the vast majority of my subscriptions never show up on the home screen. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Peter says, question. Are you going to do a live when they launch Starship again like last time? I will do that. I just think it's fun. I mean, do you guys like it? In the chat, let me know. Do you want me to be do you want me to be live during the launch number 3? I would like to do it. I like to hang out with you guys and do that. So once again, I mean, if you want me to put that in the chat, and I will do it. Bear in mind that I will plan it to happen, but sometimes due to weather, due to wind, due to atmospheric crap, they might have to delay, and then all of a sudden, I can't do it because, some other work is going on. But if you guys want me to, I'll definitely slate it as going live for Starship 3. So I think it'd be awesome. I enjoy it. I really do. Let's see here. It reminds me of the space shuttle when I was a kid. Every time a space shuttle, Discovery, it doesn't, which one? Every time a space shuttle would go up, we were in school, things would stop. TV would come on in the room, and we would watch as this just miracle happens, right? How they just put these people on the tippy top of an Acme rocket and just launch them into outer space, right? And a couple of times they blew it up with people on board, and that was not good. It was extremely sad, and I watched that one actually, really, really sad. But it happens. This is the stuff. I mean, people. It's like we are not made to go 3 miles under water, but there are people that will do it, and then sometimes bad things happen. It happens. So anyways, let me move on before I rant and go on and on here, and then I end up not being able to finish going through all of these questions. Let's see here. Here we go. And I'm going to have to start picking up the pace because there's a lot, and if not, I'm not going to get through at my hour-and-a-half mark that I promised Peter so he can go to bed. Because in Denmark, it is late, or is it early? I guess it's early for him over there. Let's see. Ian says, I was watching the videos the last 2 weeks and things that SpaceX can do, Starship, Moon, Base. Yeah, so they can do all that. Lasers on board, data center, moon base, all kinds of stuff. The first thing that Starship is going to do is they're going to create a secondary Starship that's going to be like a Hess gas station, an Exxon, in low Earth orbit. And it's going to be the entire unit, which will be full of fuel. There will be no other payload. It will be fuel. And then other craft can just pull up to it, dock, refuel, and then take off. Cool shit, right? Just like literally a gas station in outer space. So that's going to be one of the first things that they work on. Wiki Gaming, let's see, says, hi, I am French. How are you doing? I really do appreciate you. Starlink with your videos and my case. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here. 83 Jeep, how are you doing? Says DirecTV is now is a streaming service. Yeah, DirecTV is just. I mean, all of these companies, they're gonna all go streaming, and that's it, because Geo is just, it's dead. It's literally dead. 22 years cybersecurity. This smells like a cyber event. Obviously, just Ken's talking about what we were talking about earlier with the AT&T outage. Let me once again put a Q before your questions so I can see it, because I'm going to be scrolling through them. And if I miss it, put it in there again. Once again, put a Q before the question. John says, "Is your kids close on fire in Texas? 10 fire? Oh no, I don't believe. No, not close to 1 million acres. I didn't even know that. 10% contained. That's crazy. No, I haven't heard anything from them about fires. So luckily, no, they are not. Let's see. Just Ken says 100% correct. We are moving down. Let's see here. Peter or Joey, how are you doing? AT&T was once going to put towers up where I live, and they canceled at the last minute. So just so you know, AT&T is trying to kill all copper. They already wrote to us and said, listen, we have AT&T Internet Air available for you if you would like it. No, I don't want it. I will stick with your piece of shit copper. Okay, I don't want your tower. I already have a T-Mobile tower. What am I going to do with AT&T tower? But even though I deny them, probably I will speculate within a year or two, maybe a little bit longer, maybe even less, maybe a year or two, they're going to cut me off. And they're going to turn the copper off and say, if you want AT&T, you have to go through our wireless tower. But just think, guys, with the AT&T copper, I could still pick up the phone and dial 911 if there's a problem. With the AT&T home air bullshit that uses the tower, those 11 hours, I would be in the dark. No 911 call. It's a problem. It's a problem. I'll stick with copper as long as I can. Even just for basic service. Let's see. Fox Caro says, question, why not? I was told by customer support at Starlink that cannot run cable from an antenna 30 feet from a garage to the house in a 1.5 PVC conduit cable, blah, 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 blah. So if you're trying to backhaul Starlink from like a garage to the home or something like that, backhaul the signal, that does not work. Starlink's router, their software doesn't allow backhauling, and that could be what they're talking about. I'm not sure. Anyways, keep that in mind. No backhauling with Starlink. Other routers do it. Starlink's does not. Honey Badger says, true GPS connection to the ground side. Yes, absolutely. People don't realize this, but the dish itself, it has a lot of it has actuators, the original ones, 2.0s, 1.0 and 2.0. They have GPS built on board. They got all kinds of stuff, all kinds of, they have gyros. They have motion detectors, so they know if the dish is moving, and if it is moving, at what speed it's moving. There's a lot of shit inside there that people don't even realize. So even if you were to shut off GPS, some people are like, oh yeah, the Russians probably are using SpaceX Starlink over there because they shut off the GPS and they're using it from like Poland or something. And the answer to that is no. Because even if you shut off the GPS, they will still be able to triangulate it using the 6,000 satellites. So don't get it twisted. Don't even bother shutting off GPS. They still know where you are. They even know how fast you're going. Let me see. Scrolling down here, Wi-Fi 6. Can you use a Starlink Wi-Fi 6 unit as the main? Yes, you can. That was from Robert W. You can bypass your Starlink router if you want. And you can use a Wi-Fi 6. You could also use a Wi-Fi 6E or Wi-Fi 7. Whatever. Right now, the generation 2, generation 3s, they are Wi-Fi, the generation 2 are Wi-Fi 5, whereas the generation 3 router, not the dish, because we're at generation 4 with the dish now. I know it's confusing. The generation 3 is a Wi-Fi 6 router. So that's kind of nice. You get the added security, a little bit better. I did a whole video on that. Check that out. If not, I'll go down a rabbit hole. Honey Badger says, you are missing Fabiola so much this evening. I am. There's so many questions I'm trying to get to. I know. She helps me out so much. Let's see. Thorne says, social media platforms formerly known as Twitter. God, I hate that. It's so damn annoying. Ken says, my bill is $90 a month. Really? So there you go. Discounted zone. So there you go. Just Ken got the $90 that I was talking about. So where our bill went from $110 to $120, his bill went from most likely the $110 down to the $90. That's awesome. Let's see. John said, did you see the video that Elon is talking about YouTube to be part of the company? No, I did not. Send me a link. Send me a link. Let's see. C. Morales says in Mexico, residential service is $62 a month. That's sweet. Average 250 down by 25 up. Yes, it always has to do with congestion. Here in the U.S., we get the shittiest service. If you take a look at SpaceX Starlink speeds overseas, Mexico, perfect example, or if you go to Germany, you go to anywhere overseas, they are faster. Period. End of story. Let's see. Philip, how are you doing, Philip? Said, love the live chat, Joe. Miss your wife. I know. Me too. Jeff, how are you doing, Jeff? Let's see. Just got the Biden funding ad at the beginning. Really? Is there any way that I can, stop any Biden ads from showing up on this live? Is that possible? It's not. We have no control. And that's kind of weird, right? As creators, you would think that a creator would have control. Like, for example, if you're a creator and you're a staunch Christian that does not believe in any type of birth control or doesn't believe in whatever, right? Well, you definitely don't want to have an ad for I don't know, some type of abortion something or some clinic or some drugs to abort you wouldn't want that, right? So you would think that YouTube would allow you to say, no, I don't want this, and this, but you can give me all the rest, right? But we don't get that opportunity. Whatever they see fit based on your demographics, because they know who you are, they know what you like, those are the ads that they give you. So most likely you're probably a Biden fan, and that's why they sent you the Biden ad. Yeah. History stamp. Emergency service. Use FirstNet, which is managed by AT&T. FirstNet uses dedicated and shared. I didn't even know that. Interesting. Very interesting. Rick, how you doing? Rick says, Joe, I got Starlink kit in very early January 2021, so I had been using it for 38 months. Wow. There you go. There's someone that's using this thing for 38 months. Hey, Rick, 38 months using it. Is it still the same equipment, or did it break and you had to get new? Because I have 28 months on mine. Knock on wood. No problems as of yet. So that's pretty good. Let me know. Kurt, how you doing? Kurt says put 20 or 50 behind your phone and your phone case. Exactly. Put some money in your phone case, and this way you at least have some cash. That's very important. Me and Peter have gigabit. God, Mo World, we hate you too. That's awesome, though. That is really great. That is awesome. Let's see. Jeff says, I got 6 inches of snow in the AM with the version 2 or the Gen 2. Just started to get some obstruction due to the snow. Now, make sure, it says, do you know if the Generation 3 is better at handling snow? So the Generation 2, the one that's fully actuated, right? It's fully articulating. It spins 360, does the whole thing. That one has the built-in heaters. There's no reason why there's any snow stuck to it, right? It should melt off. And if it doesn't, that means either if you go into the app, you check to see that you didn't accidentally set your heater to off, set it to auto, and it should automatically turn on and off based on temperature. So check that out. And if that's not working, maybe you write into SpaceX, say, listen, this is what's happening. Snow's sticking. I don't know. It's not heating up. Send me a new one. They will. They will definitely send you a new one. Let's see here. Scrolling down, Nicholas. I had 3 inches of snow also. There you go. Wow, more snow. People with all this snow. In Florida, we don't get too much snow. Let's see. Philip says, do you think that Starlink satellites are being monitored by other beings like UFOs? Elon seems to think that there is no UFOs or no alien life, no life anywhere else. I just, that's one of the things that I completely disagree with him on. And the reason being, it's like, taking a grain of sand on all the beaches in the entire world, right? That is like our planet. The vastity of the universe, I think it would just be, I don't know. It would be very difficult for me to think that we are the only intelligent life forms in that vast of a universe. It just, I don't know. I would find it extremely, I think that the problem is the maximum rate or maximum velocity, maximum speed, let's say of light, for example, traveling in a vacuum has a finite speed that will only allow something to travel so far, so fast, right? So that being said, if someone is on the other side of the, not even the galaxy, but on the other side of the universe, you're talking about hundreds, maybe even thousands of light years away. So even if they got into a ship and came to us, we wouldn't see them for who knows how long, right? And then they would miss us. They miss our galaxy and they just shoot by the Milky Way. They go into another galaxy. They didn't even find us. So, I mean, I could see how it'd be very hard for anyone to find us, but to say that there's no one else but us, I think it's a bit grandiose. I think just to think that we are that, I think it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me, but who knows? Obviously, I'm not going to find out anytime soon, nor will you. Let's see. Let's go into a few more questions here. We are getting to, what do we got now? Like an hour? All right. So I'm going to see if we can stick to maybe another 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm going to try to answer everything, though. We're going to try getting to it. Question. Peter, his fiber is bi-directional, 1 gig by 1 gig. God, that's awesome. Tom says, question, why do we need Chinese satellites when we have Chinese balloons flying over the U.S.? That's a really good question. That is a great question. You really don't need them, right? So the Chinese are putting up a Starlink-like setup. I think it's called like, what is it like? Starnet? I think it's called Starnet. If I'm wrong, let me know. I think they're putting up some shit called Starnet, and it's going to be Starlink with like 13,000 satellites, and then another group is going to put another like 18. They're going to have like 20 plus thousand satellites in low Earth orbit, just like Elon. So yeah, they're not going to need to use balloons anymore. Do you know I get people all the time that tell me that I'm completely out of my mind, that that satellites do not exist, number one. And they also say that not only that satellites do not exist, but the satellites or whatever is up there is actually up there with balloons. So they're hanging up there on balloons. What the frick is that? That's just ridiculous. I mean, is it ridiculous? But then again, there's some people out there that say that I'm crazy, that they really do believe that the world is flat. And when you get to the end, I don't know, you freaking fall off or something. I don't know. Just, yeah, kind of. Some of the stuff is kind of delusional. Let me just say, Fox Carol, thank you so much for that super chat. I really do appreciate that. That is really, really nice. And 83 Jeep, thank you for the premium sub. That is awesome. Those super chats are really, really appreciated. Thank you, guys. Let's see here. Can you guys hear like a motor? There's like a motor outside. I don't know what the heck is going on. There's like a motorcycle or something. Hopefully you guys can't hear it. Let's see. Moving down with some of these questions. Let me go down to here. Once again, if you have any questions, put a Q before the question so that I see it. If not, I'll think that you guys are just talking amongst each other. Let's see here. Let me go to here. Peter says, yes, it's gonna be fun because it was the last time. Let's see. Friday nights. D-Dub. How are you doing, D-Dub? Friday night. JC. Really appreciate you being here. As always, he says thanks for the great content. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much, D-Dub. Eric says, Joseph, you should be Houston for Starship 3. That would be awesome, right? What do you got? Like, what is it? Ellie in space? Ellie? I don't know. One of the girls, she does a really good YouTube channel, and she covers it. I think she does over there in Houston, I think. So, I mean, we could always watch her, right? But no, I'll be covering it. I think I'm going to do a live if you guys want me to do a live and just discuss it and talk about it and just kind of enjoy it with you guys. Matter of fact, there you go. Ian said, here he is, Ellie in space. There you go. I was right. Excellent. Yeah, you can always check her out. She does a really good job. Renee, how are you doing? Says it. Says damn Skippy. Yep, damn Skippy. Let's see here. Ken. Condon says yes. Live launch broadcast. Excellent. Yeah. I will like Starship, and I'll be wondering about. Okay, so I mean, the whole idea with that whole flying around the Earth, Ken or Kevin, is that their goal, instead of landing, right, that front or the top piece, the actual Starship, what they're going to do is they're going to splash it down in the ocean for the first time. So the goal is they're going to launch it. Once it gets up to the proper altitude, it's going to fly all the way around the entire Earth. And once it comes back around full circle, it is then going to splash down in the ocean. They're going to go recover it, and then that's it. In the future, their goal is to come back down to the ocean, flip right side up, and then just land it or sink it into the water, but properly. Okay, think about it. So this way they know that they can actually get this motion, they can get it to actually land where they want it to, and then the follow-up time, instead of landing in the drink, they're going to land on the back of a drone ship or land in Texas, whatever. The bottom line is they're going to eventually start landing them and not splashing them down in the salt water and then basically creating a pile of junk, right? So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I think it's gonna go over well. I predict it's not gonna blow up this time. I might be wrong. Well, we'll see. Hopefully I'm right. Let me see. Dominic says, yes, please go live. Thank you so much for that. I will do that. Denmark. So Peter says it's 3:14 in the morning. Holy shit. I'm sorry, Peter. Hang in there. We got 20 minutes. I'm going to go as fast as I can. Maybe even sooner. We'll see. Once again, any questions? Put them in the chat now, right? So I can get to all of them. Let's see. Dean says, hey, mate, from Victoria, Australia. How are you doing? Appreciate you being here. Wow. My speeds have been through the roof in the last 3 months, going from 200 to 360 megabits per second and upload speeds of 30 to 50 megabits per second. That is where you want to be. You don't need anything more. That's awesome. As long as your latency looks good, latency under 30 milliseconds, maybe even 20 milliseconds. I know there's a lot of people overseas that are getting higher latency because they don't have a pop that's close to them. So instead of like being 700 miles away from the pop like I am, going from Florida to North Carolina, I believe it is. No, it's Atlanta, Georgia. Sorry, Atlanta, Georgia, 750 miles away. Some people have to go to different countries. And you're talking about thousands of miles away. Now, all of a sudden, your latency has gone from like 20, 30 milliseconds up to like 50 milliseconds, 60, 70 milliseconds, which is not good. So hopefully, even though you're getting those speeds, you're getting good millisecond latency also. Let us know, Dean. Let us know. And once again, thank you for being here. Really do appreciate that. Phil says, I had to go with AT&T Air last week after our house was hit by lightning during a bad storm here in Indiana. It is faster than the old DSL we had. I'm going to order Starlink in about 2 weeks. So yeah, there you go. Yes, it is faster than DSL using AT&T's Internet Air. And that's what they want, right? But remember, you're using a wireless tower. So if that tower goes down, you have nothing. So right now we have Uverse here. I have T-Mobile, which is at wireless, and I have the Starlink, and then I bond all three of them together. So I know I have a really strong signal. So if you guys don't know it, AT&T, no problem in the weather, right? Doesn't matter. Copper, right? That's fine. Starlink, in extreme weather, extreme like rain, it goes south, right? Rain fade is the thing. Whereas with T-Mobile, I have an external, I did a whole video on this. Go check it out. The nice folks gave me a unit, a external antenna to review. It's freaking awesome. I would recommend it to anyone. Matter of fact, I think if you go to JCristina.com/antenna, JCristina.com/antenna, you'll be able to see it. Awesome freaking antenna. Anyways, so when there's rain fade happening because I'm getting extreme downpour, that T-Mobile is going strong. Just like if it's not even raining, it's connecting direct. Because remember, it's an external antenna that's pointing directly at the tower. So I have no problem with it. So anyways, it kind of is what it is. It sucks that AT&T, instead of giving you fiber, they're giving you a cell phone service. That's what it is. But that's AT&T. That's AT&T. I can go into stories. I'm not going to go into stories. We want to get to the comments. Let's see. Starlink DC power supply. Yes, I want to see the new Starlink next generation power through DC with an AC adapter, so that if you want to run your Starlink using a battery, you can go DC directly into it, and you don't have to use an inverter, right? Going from DC to AC and then into the Starlink. So I'm hoping that they do that, so that anyone that is traveling, anyone that's using solar, anyone that's using batteries, anyone that is on the go and they're using it maybe in the middle of the woods somewhere, you don't need a inverter to be able to run it. People don't understand that when you take power and you go from DC and you move it to AC, that inverter draws extra power and it loses power. So you're like net negative pretty much. So you lose like 10, depends on the inverter. Some of the inverters are complete shit, but usually an inverter will lose you like 10, 20% of the battery. So if you have 100% of battery life, well, you just cut it to 80 immediately just because you're using an inverter. And like I said, some of the inverters are just horrible. It might even be cut it in half due to the inversion when it's taking that DC and moving it to AC. So we'll see. I would like to see them go straight DC. That would be freaking awesome. But we'll see. Let's see. Foxcar says, question. Yeah, no backhaul. Yeah, absolutely. So just antenna, 150 feet cable of router was direct question. Yeah, so you should be able to run an antenna wire, your standard PoE, your power over Ethernet, 100 feet to your dish, no problem at all. And I've tested it and it works. Matter of fact, I did in a video, I keep saying this, but I did a video. Take a look at my videos, I don't know, here, wherever. Check out my video about fixing Starlink cable. Because even though I teach you how to fix the cable, a lot of people use that video to make longer cable. So instead of paying all that stupid money that SpaceX wants for their cables, their long cables, they just take a short cable. Then they get like high quality, like a Cat 8, like a really good high quality. There's a couple of requirements. Look at the video. It's got to be grounded, shielded, some other shit. Anyways, look at the video. They take that and then they splice into it, and now they run the damn thing like 250 feet and it still works. No problem. Without a repeater. So you can do that. Once again, watch my video and it'll talk a little bit about that. It'll tell you how to do it. And then I also show you the exact equipment that you need to do it and which connectors, because there's multiple, and if you don't get the right one, it doesn't work. So check out my video. Let's see. Shannon says, as a user, we can't choose to not see videos from select channels either. No, you can't. It's crazy. You have no control. And as a creator, I really would like to see, Shannon, control going to the creator, especially when it comes to advertisement, because, there's certain things that I'm not very keen on and I don't really want shown on my channel, right? I don't care about the couple of extra bucks. I just don't want it shown on my channel. But I don't have that ability. So you'll get anything that YouTube thinks that you would like. Those are the ads that you're going to get on my channel and on every other channel. And how many they pump in there is based on how many people are on, how long is the video. There's so many. It's like this massive, equation, right? On how they put these ads in and stuff. So I don't know. I will not pretend to know how they do it. I don't know. Let's see. Question from Tom. It says, I'm a first responder, and our county radio broadcast during the outage said FirstNet was down too. Holy crap. Really? So why would FirstNet be down? I don't get that. So FirstNet is down. Either number one, they're backhauling through AT&T, and now they're down. FirstNet is down, or FirstNet was so inundated that they're down due to congestion. One or the other. That's not good. Your emergency to emergency is screwed. Now you got a real emergency. I mean, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. Let's see. Moving down here, what do we got? T-minus like 15 minutes, guys. Peter, hang in there. I know you're sleepy. Hang in there. Drink another cup of coffee. We're almost done. Let's see. Derry says, I'm watching you on TV from my phone. No messages. There you go. Wow. So there you go. Watch me through your phone on your TV, and you won't get any ads. There you go. I don't need to make any money. Let's see. Let's see. Moving down here. Peter, 1 hour. Here. Ricky says, I am using the original dish and router, though I bypass the router and use a TP-Link mesh router by your suggestion. That was one of the videos that I did on how to build a mesh network. Watch my video. I got 250 damn videos now. 250 videos just on Starlink stuff. It's like crazy. Anyways, I did have to replace a 150-foot cable, but that's it. So there you go. That's awesome. So he's bypassing his Starlink router. He's using the TP-Link mesh router that I recommended. Probably built a full mesh network out of it, and he just had so far a problem with one of the 150-foot cables. Went south. That happens. The cables that they were using for a long time, I was speculating way back like 12 months ago or so. I was saying that I think that the gauge, the AWG, right? The gauge of the cable was too thin when a user is in very cold environments. Why do I say that? Now, you hear people, or even myself, say that, look, there's a heater, right? There's a heater in the unit, right? And that heater will defrost the snow, yada, yada, yada. Well, there's no heater really inside the dish. What it is it increases the amps that go from the router to the dish. And by increasing that amp, the amount of amps, it heats up the electronics in the dish, hence melting the snow off it. That's how it works. But, and like I always say, the big but here is that the AWG, the thickness of the cable, is too thin to handle the amount of load that is produced when it is pumping the extra amperage for an extended period of time. You get that? So if you're in an extremely cold environment and that thing is pumping amps like continuously for 48 hours straight, sometimes the ends of those cables will melt. And we've seen it before. So I think what they need to do is they need to increase that amp, the size, the thickness of those cables. And then they really wouldn't matter anymore. Why they haven't done that yet, I don't know. But I suggested that a long time ago. Shannon's gifted 5 JCristina memberships. Holy crap, Shannon. That's really nice. Thank you so much for that. Really, really do appreciate that, Shannon. That is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's see. Let me come up here, and I don't want to miss anybody. I'm sure I know I'm missing questions. I know, but Fabiola's not here, and there's a lot. So I'm scrolling through it. If I missed you, throw it down below. If you know that I've gotten to a question after yours and I missed it, throw it down below. Once again, put a Q before it. Let's see. Moving down. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Here's a question. Oh, that's the first responder question. We already got that. Okay, let me move down a little bit further here. Peter with his 1 hour to go. I appreciate you. Thank you. 83 Jeep says the download speed is 102 megabits and upload speed is 19 megabits. 102, not that great. 19, it's pretty good. That's 20 megabits up. I don't mind it. I don't mind that at all. David said my Gen 2 is in storage. Or is in a storage telephone put in fiber to home. Should I sell the Generation 2 or hold on to it? Okay, so if you have the money, I would say keep the Generation 2 Starlink. Don't sell it. The reason being is I think a lot of people are going to be wanting the Generation 2 because it's probably going to be the very last fully articulating, actuated unit available. They're moving, like the new generation has moved now to a freaking kickstand. Okay, so you have the unit like this, it's got a little kickstand sticking out of it, and that's it. The only thing you could do with it is rotate it. That's all you could do. That angle is what the angle is. That's it. That's all great and all, but how about if it's mounted at the top of a 3-story building? Or the top of a 100-foot tree? I'm not joking. Someone sent me a picture. They have their Starlink at the top of like 120 foot tree, and it's working. I can see the damn thing doing those. Do you hear that? I can hear the wind, and it's working. That is just cool as hell. I just think that's awesome. I think that's awesome. I wish I had the picture on me. I'd share it with you. I think I shared it in one of my videos. Did I just tell you to watch another video? Go watch another video. Let me see. Moving down here. 83 Jeep says latency is 26.81 milliseconds. That is sweet. That is not bad. 26 milliseconds is not bad. Elon Musk said that he will be getting this thing down to sub 20 milliseconds latency. That's awesome. And he can do it. I know he can do it because if you know it or not, the speed of data that goes from your dish to the satellite and then back down to you, round trip, is 8 milliseconds. Everything past 8 milliseconds is latency on the ground. That's the way it is. So they just need to do some work on the ground and they'll be able to get that sub 20 milliseconds without a problem. Just think, they got 12 milliseconds to play with. They should be able to do it. Let's see. Randy says, question, do you think that Starlink is a viable solution for emergency communication in the event that there's a major attack or infrastructure, blah, 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 some type of hack? I do. I really do. I think that SpaceX Starlink is a fantastic emergency. Matter of fact, that was originally what it was used for, right? Right from the very beginning, look, when it came out of beta, they sent, they sent version 1 SpaceX Starlinks, version 1 to the Ukraine. For what? For emergency services. Now, the very first one ended up getting hacked by the Russians, right? And they ended up scrambling it and they took it down for a short period of time. Literally within like a day, maybe 2 days. The brilliant minds over there at SpaceX rewrote the security algorithm, and the Russians haven't been able to break in since. They haven't been able to scramble it, they haven't been able to do nothing. Think about that. So it's since it's in war, right, for the last 2 years now, or whatever now, it's for a while, it's hardened. That's why the military is now using SpaceX Starlink under the guise or under the name, Space Force. It's Starlink, but Elon Musk doesn't have control over those Starlinks. Air quotes. Okay. It's so that the government can kind of do what they want with them, so to speak, and they pay them per whatever, for contract or who knows how they do it. But this is what they've been doing, and it's pretty hardened, and it works really, really well. And yes, I do think it's a great emergency means of communication. Let's see, just think, you could communicate, even if there was a hurricane, there's no power at all. As long as you can get some power to that router, you're golden. You have internet. Simple as that. So, I think that, yeah, it is a great means to have emergency backup internet or communications. Look at AT&T, down for 11 hours. Do you know Elon Musk, SpaceX, has never been down for more than, I think it was like an hour, 40 minutes, something like that. Way back, like almost 2 years ago or whatever. You know, due to it was like a worldwide, like a glitch or something that happened. But it just hasn't happened. You know, it's not an issue. It's not an issue anymore. It's like never down. Matter of fact, if I look at mine, I'm just gonna look right now. What do we have? Like maybe 10 minutes left here or something? I know you're watching, Peter. 10 minutes left. Let me go into here. Let me just see what this shows me here as far as outages. Let me go to statistics, and I'm going to put my brightness up here so that you guys can see it. I don't have the overhead camera right now. Let me go to outages. Look at this. So 2-second outages in the last 12 hours. How many? Zip. There has been no outages of 2 seconds or longer in the past 12 hours. That's pretty amazing. Way back when I first started 28 months ago, there was a list. There was a bunch. So now let's go to 0.1 seconds, right? How many outages? I have a total here of 5 outages of less than 1 second. Less than 1 second. One is 0.8 seconds. One is 0.9 seconds. One is 0.6 seconds. That's it. There you go. I mean, can you guys see it? I don't even know. Does it show up? It's blurry, right? I mean, if I cover my eyes, will it do it? Does it do it? Anyways, trust me, right? That's what they always say. Trust me. There's 5 outages and 0 outages of 2 seconds or more. So I mean, it is really strong now. It is hardened. When I say hardened, it is hardened. There's Shannon's gifts. 5 people got those. That is awesome. Once again, thank you so much for that. That is really kind. Very, very kind. Let's see. Did you hear that DirecTV, this is from Ricky Joe, that DirecTV had a nationwide outage a week after AT&T did? I heard they had to go in space to reposition the satellite. I don't even know. DirecTV, like I said, DirecTV, Usenet, they'll be out of business. All right. They're not going to be around very much longer. What will end up happening is they will start doing almost solely streaming, and all that satellite BS, it's not going to be needed anymore. It's just not, right? You'll be able to, they'll be like a content provider. They won't be a TV or telco type of service, because just think about it. If Usenet or not Usenet, but if Dish Network or DirecTV, right, they didn't have satellites at all and they went solely to streaming, that means that if you had a SpaceX Starlink on your roof, you would still be able to get DirecTV, or you'd still be able to get Dish Network streaming if you wanted to. Who the hell would want to? But if you wanted to, you could. They would have to charge a hell of a lot less, thank God. They deserve it. But I think more importantly, they deserve just going out of business. That's my personal opinion, you know. I had Dish Network for about 20 years. I mean, they've gotten so many tens of thousands of dollars from me. It's just disgusting for just the worst service. I mean, horrible. They would go up every single like couple of months. It was horrid, absolutely horrid. Anyways, let's see. Moving on to Tom. It says FirstNet is AT&T powered. Holy shit. Wow. So FirstNet, so your AT&T goes down, and then your emergency service from FirstNet goes down too, because they also use AT&T. You see what I'm saying? When shit goes south, it goes south, and it goes south quickly, because a lot of people are relying on each other, and it's a problem. It is a big problem. Once again, that's why SpaceX Starlink is a great emergency backup for any type of internet or any type of communications, period. Peter says, I'm watching you on my phone through Chromecast on the TV. See, there you go. That's awesome. And you get no advertisements either. That's perfect. Let's see. Question from John. John Wolf says, do you think that I need to run electrical wire in a different hole than the Starlink cable? whenever you put power in the same conduit as data, as a data cable, you have potential to get high SNR. To make it simple, your signal to noise ratio gets freaking out of whack. How much good signal to the amount of noise, it goes out of whack. So that noise will end up with CRC errors. I don't want to get too freaking too deep on this. The bottom line is if you can put two conduits, one for power and one for data, you'll be doing yourself a big favor. If you can't, then I would suggest getting some really good burial Cat 8, like thick ass, good cable that is not only meshed, right? It has like a wire meshing around it to stop a lot of that crosstalk from happening, right? It also has jelly inside, which that jelly will also insulate so you can bury that cable. It also has a grounding strap in these cables. They're really, really good. So I would use like one of those high quality cables if you have to put your data cable, your cat cable, in the same cable as your power. Also, make sure that your power cable is in a really good wrap, right? Not some cheap ass cable. Some people do this and then there's more crosstalk. Just quality all around and you should be all right. Let's see, going down to the end. We're coming to the end of the internet, guys. We're coming to the end of the internet. Once again, any other questions, put them in there right now before I sign off for Friday. Let me see. All the people that got those memberships from Shannon are saying thank you. That is awesome. Once again, that is really, really cool. That is really, really cool. Thank you for doing that. Let's see. Just Ken says, I've been seeing my Gen 2 for the last few weeks hitting 200 to 300 megabits down and 25 to 35 megabits up. That's awesome. I have two. It makes me very happy. Makes me very happy. All those updates, like I said, all those firmware updates and reboots and all this other shit, it's worth it because they're fixing something. The speeds are getting better, definitely better. And Just Ken also says that he's getting between 22 and 35 milliseconds of latency. Perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Can't complain about that at all. That is great. Let's see, going down. Arnie, how are you doing? Arnie's here. Says hello from Possum Town. How's it going, Arnie? Appreciate you being here. Josh, how you doing, Josh? Still loving Starlink. Speeds are increasing. See, that's been the consensus, right, guys? All these messages, most people are saying that the speeds are increasing. That's awesome. That's what we want to see. And remember, like I said, once Starship flies and is able to put the version 2, instead of minis, the version 2 maxis into space, or version 3s, whatever they want to call them at that point, things are going to get even better, even faster, lower latency, better, more reliability, right? It's going to be better, better, better. So this is really, really good. The other thing that, I don't know if you guys, I didn't do a video on it, but I didn't know if you guys are aware of it or not, but normally in the top fairing of a Falcon 9 rocket, they can hold about 20 or 21 Starlink satellites they can pack in there, right? That's it. Well, just last week, I think it is, they launched 23 or 24 in one of these Falcon 9 rockets. It doesn't seem like a lot, but just think, if you can get an extra 4 in every launch, it adds up. You know, it adds up pretty quick. 5 launches, you got 20 extra satellites up there. And you didn't have to expend any more fuel to do so. There's no additional money. So this is really cool. I think they're doing this because they see, they need to accelerate the number of satellites that are up there. And the only way to do it at this point is to use those minis and to get as many just smashed into that fairing that they can. So what I think they did is they extended that fairing a little bit. They made it a little bit wider. They changed the construction. I think they might have shrunk the minis a little bit or repositioned them. But hey, they got 3 or 4 extra in there. That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. That's awesome for us. Let's see. Just Ken says, I have cable in my area, but moved to Starlink as I was sick of having no internet. The power lines got dropped in the winter storms. Exactly. A lot of people do this. I think it was Arnie that did it. He ended up getting, Arnie, down below, let me know if I'm wrong. I think he ended up getting fiber, and he had fiber for a short period of time, and he went back to Starlink because it was just like more reliable for him. The fiber was going down. So let me know if I was wrong, if I got the story wrong, Arnie, since you're here. But yeah, I mean, it is very reliable, and I do think that it's going to get even more and more and more reliable as time goes by. Remember, we have 6,000 satellites overhead right now at 550 kilometers. The projection is 10,000 by the end of the year. And then 43,000 maximum once, like, I think 2 or 3 years goes by. Because remember, once the Starship gets up there, they're going to be able to launch not 20 satellites. They'll launch like hundreds at a time because that thing is so damn big, right? So they will launch hundreds at a time. So it's going to be a big thing once it happens, once we see it happen. So I'll go live. And hopefully when I go live, I don't have to say, guys, there we go. It blew up again. Let's hope they don't blow this one up. Let's hope not. We'll see. Let me see. We're getting to the end here. If I missed your question, put it down below. Here's one question from, Ian says, what about coaxial cable? They put down 900 feet. Mine shaft to get internet down there. Yeah, absolutely. You could go 900 feet on coaxial. Remember, coaxial cable is thick as hell. So you can, so people understand this. Like, the reason why AT&T's internet is shit, okay, is because they're using tiny hair copper, right? They're doing twisted pair. The twists is shit. It's like a Cat 3 that they put outside. It's literally junk that they put. Even today, like right now, if you got AT&T, that's it. They run like some junk. It's like barely twisted. So you get a ton of crosstalk, a ton of the SNR shit. They're not wrapped very well. And then you're pushing signal down this thin, like four cables, 6 cables. That's it. It's not good. Whereas coaxial cable is thick, right? So like you can, 900 feet is nothing for coaxial cable. Coaxial cable, if you want faster speeds, that's all that the cable company have to do is just turn up the amp, turn up the load. It can handle it, no problem, because it is that thick. So yeah, coaxial cable is a breeze. Fragile 1976, thank you for the super chat. Says good night. Good night to you. Thank you for that super chat. Thank you for the donation. Thank you for your support. I do appreciate it. You have a wonderful weekend. Wonderful weekend. Let's see. Rick says good night. And it would have been great if Fabiola was here. I appreciate that. You're right. I know. She'll be here next week, right? I will drag her in no matter what. Let me finalize here. Let's see. Renee says, due to speed test, I will pick local ad pop at Dallas. Yeah. So the problem is you at one time you used to be able to pick your pop. You'd be able to say, hey, my pop is currently in Atlanta, Georgia. I want my pop to be put back down to Miami. And then SpaceX will be like, oh yeah, why are you at 700 miles away instead of 70 miles? I'm like, yeah, good question. And then they would send me over to Miami, and then I have wonderful service until they do another update. And then what? I'm back to North Carolina, or I'm back to Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. And then when I wrote them back after that, and I told you guys about it, and then you guys all flooded them with changing your pop. Then when I went to go and change mine again, they're like, we do not change pops. The pop that you have is the best that we have available. Blah, 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 blah. I should have kept my mouth shut. Nah. I'm glad to be able to help you guys, at least some of you, until the cat was out of the bag, and then that was the end of it. Anyways, let me just say thank you so much for Peter being here. It's probably like 4 a.m. now over there. I thank you for moderating tonight. Thank you for everyone coming. Thank you to all of the people that have done these super chats and the donations. And of course, wow, 5 memberships to 5 people. Thank you, Shen, for that. That is awesome. That was super, super cool. Really appreciate it. And I know everyone that got those memberships, free memberships on you, are very thankful for it. So anyways, guys, have a wonderful weekend. Many blessings to each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. We'll see you in the next one. And hopefully, I'll be with you on the next Starship launch, number 3. It doesn't blow up. Anyways, guys, have a great one. Have a great night. We'll talk to you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.